Check, check, check. Good evening. It is me again, Justice A to Z, Jazz, Xena, Princess Warrior, Justice Warrior, no princess. Let's see. It is the 3rd of January. It is almost 20 after 11 at night. And I'm making this video because I have to. Last night I was awake when the what shall we call it? The invasion of Venezuela was happening. There was only one channel picking it up initially, and that was JusticeAtooZ. And for that, I want to give them a huge shout out. Every criticism I've ever had of them, I take it back. They were on it. And then JLR was right there after them. And then some, then the mainstream started to get on it. But they were on it before JLR and JusticeAtooZ were on it first. That's pretty amazing. Is that good? What should I do with that? I'm just going to leave it. Please hit your like button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think will like my channel. Turn on your notification bell to ring. And everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. And all of these videos are made for the tube of you and me. So let's first focus on something positive. I like having my love will save the day sign. I like having my tranquility sign, especially as World War III could be breaking out. I'm not going to sugarcoat my words. I hope that I'm wrong. I'm not the least bit surprised about any of this. I think I've been saying for weeks, if not months, that I fully expected Biggly Piggly to literally blow up the world as a distraction from the Trumpstein files. That's exactly what he's done. In my opinion, that's all this is. I know it's about oil too and greed and all that. There's a lot to it, but primarily I think the motivation literally is to distract from the Trumpstein files. And it ain't gonna work. I mean, of course, it'll drag it out, but that's all it's going to do. It's just going to drag it out. Let me move my red a millimeter this way and my orange a millimeter, nope, the other way. I think I moved the red one the wrong way too then. I need to move it, which way? This way, towards me. It's so hard to know. Okay, I'm not going to touch nothing. I'm not allowed to touch anything. All right. So while I was awake watching the invasion happen, and then it wasn't long before the Trumpster fire finally started posting about it and bragging that he had abducted Madero and his wife. Anna Bees, my girl, how are you today? Happy New Year. I think I saw you. No, I haven't seen you since New Year's, have I? Because I didn't see you yesterday, and it was the 2nd. Did I do a video the day before yesterday? I think I did. But I might have skipped that day. Do you remember? Let me look real quick. Happy New Year, my dear. I know I did a video. I'm like Dory from Finding Nemo sometimes, especially when I'm on live. I just can't remember a damn thing. I'm like short attention span theater. So let me see my most recent lives. So the one that I put up 33 minutes ago, it already has a like. Thank you, Annabees. And then yesterday's, and then the Katie Johnson one. Was that New Year's Day? That probably was. Let me see. Because the one thing with YouTube is that it kind of lies to you. It tells you that things are more recent than they are, usually by about a day. So if I turn this all the way down, and then you have to dig for it. So yeah, this was on January 1st. So we were together on January 1st, but was that, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am just happy to be on now, and I need to get focused. So let me try to do that. Did you tell me how you're doing? I don't think you did, my dear, unless you did, and I just haven't looked yet. Let's see. Let me. Ha ha ha. Yes, I was with you on New Year's Day, I think. But, because I did some of the videos like late at night. So I did one late at night on New Year's Day, right? Isn't that right? Last night I was working and couldn't come on. Oh, you're fine, dear. I never want you to feel any pressure about it. I appreciate it when you are here, and you're like freaking almost always here. It's amazing. So I really appreciate that. And let's see. I'm going to turn my phone off. My phone is just so having a mind of its own. I'm okay, just tired. Yeah, I am all excited, if you can't tell. I did another 2-hour walk today. I went back to the store with the after Christmas sale. I tried to keep myself away, but I couldn't, because I had to hit Walmart for more wax for my braces. So I got new wax, which was exciting. I really needed new wax. And sometimes they don't have it. Sometimes they're out of it. Usually I buy whatever they have, as many as they have. I don't want to take them from other people, but I need a lot. I can go through easily a pack a day, and a pack has 2 packs in it. So it's like cigarettes. I can go through 2 packs a day. I'm just like chain waxing my gums or waxing my braces. And yeah, the 2-hour walks are awesome. And I have so many freaking epiphanies. Today, I probably only got like a 90-minute walk in, even though I was out there for 2 hours, because I kept having to stop and write stuff down. And I had my notebook in my car, and I kept going back to my car to write in it. And then finally, I just took it out and kept it with me. I used to have a really tiny one that I would like carry in my pocket while I was walking. But yeah, I can't hold on to the thought. Like, I'll have like some epiphany, and if I don't get it committed to paper, it's bad. Even if it just seems like there's no way I could forget, like it's so obvious of a thing to not forget. I would be like that too. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way our brains are made. Like, fortunately, we're not just like stuck in a rut when we think of something, that we continue to process. But at the same time, it's a good exercise to try to remember everything you can. Drea, my dear, how are you, honey? Hey, everyone. Hope you're all good. Happy New Year, crazy ride we're on. Yeah, so the first thing I want to say about this freaking kidnapping, and I honestly feel like the Biggly Piggly is trying to threaten his wife. He's trying to make everybody in the world feel unsafe, but especially her. I think he resents the F out of her. And by kidnapping Maduro and his wife, there's no way Melania can feel safe. I mean, she probably didn't feel safe anyway. He's probably raped her like he raped Ivana when Ivana wanted nothing to do with him before the divorce was finalized. In my opinion, he probably raped his daughter too. Maybe both, but at least the first one, the one he had with Ivana. I think that Marla Maples, one of the reasons that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back to divorce him, was when they were being interviewed by Barbara Walters or something, and they asked the Biggly Piggly what of Tiffany's she had of her dad and what she had of her mom. And she was about a year old at the time. And he was like, well, I don't know yet if she'll have the breasts of my wife. of Marla, and Marla was just sitting there aghast. He's like, maybe she'll get her legs. Like, these are the things he was saying about his 1-year-old infant. He's a very sick freak. He's a war criminal. He's a rapist. He needs to be stopped. He absolutely needs to be stopped. And it might happen. Like he might have just put himself in checkmate. Let's see. What you guys saying? Billy's here. Woohoo. Oh my goodness. We are having a party, you guys. Get your water. Do you have your water or your tea or your wine, whatever it is that you like to drink at 11:30 on a Saturday night? I like to party hard with ice water. I do love my water, and I don't drink enough of it. So good to see you all. Scam artist. Is he not the biggest effing scam artist? I'm so glad that I watched that Apprentice movie. It really shows the roots of where he came from. It kind of focuses from the time that he was his dad's employee until he took over the company. And of course, he even scammed his dad. He scammed his siblings. He scammed his entire family. He is so disgusting and horrible. He's absolutely so threatening to everyone in the world. But my heart tells me that he had Maduro's wife kidnapped specifically to put Melania on notice, because obviously she knows all the secrets. She knows all the secrets, and she's probably more in Daddy Vladdy's bed or corner than she is with Biggly Piggly. She probably speaks the language fluently, probably more fluently than the Slovenian or Slovakian that is her native tongue. I doubt she speaks 5 languages like they try to say she does. She probably just speaks the 2. Vladdy's language and her native language. I have water. It's flavored. Oh, see, and my water, I always drink filtered water, and the ice cubes are filtered too. So it tastes really good. It's kind of sweet. I love the attack on Carcass. I know I'm not going to say it right, even though I've heard other people saying it. Caracas. First on Blue Sky, 15 minutes at least before CNN reported, like, why the delay? Yeah, there was a major delay. Midas Touch had it live while it was going on. There were people that were there that were live streaming it on Midas Touch in real time. And, you know, I was laying in bed. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I turned on my YouTube and Midas Touch Live came up, and I was like, why are they on live so late? And I checked it out, and boy, was I glad that I did. And then JLR got on it before CNN. JLR was on it. I want to give that man credit. Well, Billy, I was at work, but Jazz texted me and told me, well, I think I texted you like way after. I don't remember what time it was I texted you. I just texted a small handful of people, like my sister, my daughter, my husband, because he was working last night. Yeah, I don't even think I texted my son, who's in the Navy, because it was his last night with his wife before he has to go back to Texas for his schooling. And so they have to be apart again for another 6 weeks. And it's just really hard on them. You know, they're newlyweds. They've been married for almost a year and a half, coming up on a year and a half. So just over a year. And then they have a little baby that's 9 months old. And it's just really hard on both of them, especially his baby mama. So I didn't want to text him. I figured that they might get woken up in the middle of the night because of the baby, because the baby wakes them up a lot. But I didn't text him. This is abhorrent. It really is, Billy. Those poor innocents. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that were there, I'm sure, for the holiday, for New Year's, that were still there since it was only the 2nd. And there were Chinese diplomats there. So they're going to be pissed. Like, who knows? Maybe the same thing will be happening in the direction of our country tonight. I hope not. I don't want that to happen. And I can't imagine that type of thing happening on American soil, but anything is possible. And the fact that the Chinese diplomats were there and he damn well knew it, it's almost like that was part of the equation. I think he carpeted Nigeria the day before. Oh, wow. I hadn't even heard about that, Billy. So I have a ton of notes. But the implied threat to Melania is simply my opinion. But I think that he had his first wife terminated. His second wife could be next. I mean, she came out publicly and made that announcement. Or no, it wasn't her that made the announcement. It was the person that she was talking to, that she said, don't leave your teenager alone with any of these men, especially the one that I'm married to. But because that woman went public, Marla is probably in great danger too. And I'm sure she knows way too much. I think all of us are in great danger, but the closer that you are into the maniac's circle, I mean, he's got the Trump derangement syndrome way worse than Rob Reiner had it, and way worse than I have it, and way worse than anyone else has it. Did you guys see him at his press conference today at Mar-a-Lago? Barely able to speak, slurring his speech, falling asleep. It was insane. Like, he looked like Weekend at Bernie's. He really did. And, I'm one to talk with all the braces and wax in my teeth, but it looked like there was something in his mouth. It was so bizarre. It was so bizarre. I figure he's probably drugged up on Ativan or Ludes or something, because he's probably so insanely rageful over being outed with the Epstein files, the Trumpstein files. Let's see. Keith Edwards thinks he is trying to test our military to see how far they will go on his order only. Absolutely. Personally, I don't think that the military is impressed with him, but a lot of military are younger adults, like much younger adults, and don't understand that it's on them. If they take an illegal order, they can't just say, I was following my orders of my commander. If they take an illegal order, it's on them. I mean, it puts them in the worst position, but he's such a effort, a funker. He's such a MFer that he doesn't care who he puts in a bad position, does he? He's put everybody. He's put the entire world in a bad position. Basically, this is the thing with personality disorders. Literally, you guys, I just had this epiphany live right now in front of you, if I can articulate it. The personality disorder person lives in the worst pain, the worst psychological pain you can imagine. That's where they live every day of their life. And they want other people to feel their misery. And that's one of the reasons why they lash out at people. One of the reasons. And he's in such a world of hurt over what he did, and having to be held accountable for his own actions, that he literally has pulled the rest of the world into it. I mean, I don't think there's a person on the planet that is aware of the invasion last night that wouldn't realize that we're at potentially the precipice of World War III. And that might have been crossing the precipice of World War III last night. I hope not, but it seems abundantly clear. So unless the military or Congress or the international House of Pancakes, so you know what I mean, the international, like United Nations, I'm not sure the terminology, you guys might know. Unless the military, Congress, or international forces temper him, he won't stop. And he probably pissed China off so bad that they're ready to retaliate. I mean, what a horrible night those people had. And we don't know how many civilians were hurt, injured, unalived, and we'll probably never know. They're not going to advertise that. Let me catch up with you guys. His eyes were puffed closed. Was it Keith Edwards who was saying, no, it was Luke Beasley who was saying that it looked like he was watching Mark Rubio's rear end because of the way he kept looking down, that he just had his eyes glued to Mark Rubio's rear end. Let's see. What happened? Stop. I'm not going to touch the screen. This is stupid. Okay. But I wanted to go back because I missed some. Oh, good night. I thought it said good night. It says good point. You guys, I'm just a little too excited. I got to calm down. I've got to calm my butt down. He's so vindictive. His eyes were puffed closed. Yeah, they're often puffed closed, aren't they? How are there no consequences for what was released so far with the e-files? I know, Drea. I don't know the answer to that question. I have no idea. Except, well, I guess my idea is that there's so many people in Congress that are implicated in those files. One of the groups of people that I didn't mention last night, but we all know, is the bankers, like the top banker guys that are also implicated in the files. As much as Bibi, as much as Vladdy, as much as, what is his name? The, the Middle Eastern guy with the 3 initials, the Saudi Arabian prince, like MBS, isn't that his name? MBS. These guys are all implicated, I'm sure. And I'm going to have to ask my daughter to quit yelling with the dogs. Honey, please keep it down. I'm on a live. Oh, she's the worst. I told her I was on a live. I'm sure she forgot. She wouldn't have done that on purpose, would she? I don't know if you guys could hear it. And I don't care if you guys hear my family. It's just that if I hear anything, it derails my brain when I'm live. So I have to have silence. Oh, I can't wait until the day after tomorrow and school's back on and life gets back to normal. So I have a lot more control over my own home. It's been nice having family, but I don't like the chaos. I like the quiet. I'm like an old lady. Okay, so right, Drea, all of this is driving me crazy. Jack S is taking all these notes for additional criming. Billy Darling, I'm sure he is. Now, do you say that because you just know that because you're smart, or did he say something? Yeah, I know. I mean, I have no doubt that Bigley Pigley's going to land his ass in prison. I have had no doubt for a long time. It's just a matter of when and how much damage he does before that happens. It's so frustrating. I totally agree with your assessment. It's like September 1939. They're doing a lot of mirroring of that. A lot of mirroring. I'm sure you guys are well aware. Like they intentionally make choices with their words, with their phrases, everything. I think China's really pissed off over this. Yeah. And I didn't clean my glasses. That's the one thing I didn't do. And I don't think I have a little cleansing cloth. Dang it. But I can try to clean them on my shirt. Because it's been rough reading your comments. So many things to do before I come on live. I thought I had them all covered. And I didn't even adjust the time once. I set it, and then I was a couple of minutes late, but that was it. I didn't reset it. Proud of myself for that. After last night, I reset it like half a dozen times last night. It was awful. ICC, International Criminal Court. Thank you, Billy. Yes, Jinx Jazz. The man in the high castle, Philip K. Dick, tried to warn us. I'm not sure who that is. Yes, MBS. Yeah, that guy is definitely in the files. I think Virginia Gouffre didn't mention him by name, but almost. I was wondering what that was. LOL. That's what I would do, coordinate with the ICC. So yeah, I think that it's on all of us to do whatever it is that we can to let the world know. I was watching Sherry Jacobs right before I came on, and I'll put a link to her video. It was phenomenal. She knows a lot. I think she used to work for Trump, and then she sued him. And then she had her life threatened a bunch of times. And then she has her political YouTube channel, and she's sharp. I don't agree with her on everything. And I saw her make a mistake recently that I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't know if she said that Ivana was also scheduled to be deposed the day after she fell, in air quotes, down the stairs. But I have always heard that it was not Ivana who was going to be deposed. It was Ivanka, Don Jr., and Don Sr. And it's almost immaterial. But anyway, I would like to be able to get a hold of other content creators when I see them make mistakes. And again, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe the internet just lies about it and it's been scrubbed. Maybe she was one of them. But anyway, Sherry Jacobs was saying a lot of good things. What was your comment that reminded me of it? Coordinating with the ICC. So she was saying that all of us need to make sure that we just put ourselves on blast, that we let the whole world know that we as Americans do not support the president, do not support his actions. We need to let people know that there's opposition. I mean, I was very loud in JLR's chat and in Midas's, because Midas, of course, most of the people in the chat were like me, but I think that he's getting trolled big time by Russian bots. So, they're like, yeah, right on, FAFO, and stupid stuff like that. There weren't that many of those in Midas Touch, but JLR was flooded with them. And some of them probably weren't bots. I mean, you just never know. But anyway, I just found it very important for those of us that oppose that idea to just keep hammering away in the chat and just keep saying, F Trump. And a couple of times people tagged me and tried to challenge me, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. Man in the High Castle, a novel about the bad guys. Oh, who won World War II? Is it a movie too? Did you read it? It sounds like a good title. Oh, there it is. Wikipedia. Okay, so I have not gotten to any of my notes except that last one, the thing about trying to threaten Melania. You know, one of the things, was it Sherry Jacobs that said it? I think it was in that video recently about Ivana. She said definitively that she thinks that he killed her and that he was making a direct threat to his kids to put them on notice too. And I was like, damn, girl. And she seems to know what she's talking about. I mean, she was part of the inner circle. So yes, they made it into 2-season series. But OFC officially, I like the novelist. Interviews. Well, Billy, Russia was on the German side at first, and then they came over to the Brits and our side. Yeah. Yeah. So Sherry Jacobs, I'm like I said, I'll put a link in the description to her video that she did today. And she threw her back out, so she wasn't planning on doing a video today, but I'm so glad she did. She was just spitting out facts, things that I have thought, but I'm not sure of. And she was just like hitting them hard. And she's sure of herself. And I trust her that she knows things that I've been suspicious of all along. Since Election Day, I was very suspicious when the Trumpster fire won that it was Daddy Vladdy and maybe BB as well who pulled strings to choreograph that with Elon Musk and Starlink and all the other effing around that they did to tamper with the election. That she had this whole thing that she was saying that once Biggly Piggly did what Daddy Vladdy needed him to do, he was of no use anymore. And then that's when they started announcing his health issues, like basically opening the door, laying the foundation for a medical leave. And then, basically Biggly Piggly serving up Ukraine to Vladdy. And then when he couldn't quite get there is when he offered Vladdy Alaska resources, basically. It's just bad. It's just bad. I mean, personally, I think that BB is Vladdy's puppet master. I get the feeling that he's really the man in charge. You know, the Middle Easterners have a lot of pull too. I think that the royals have a lot of pull as well. You know, they kind of gloss over it. They kind of sugarcoat it, try to make themselves seem real benign, but I don't think they are. And I think that there's a lot more than just Andrew in those freaking files. I mean, we know that the boys, William and Harry, there's pictures of them at Diddy parties. Come on. There's pictures of Donnie at a Diddy party, I think. The whole thing with Kanye. I mean, these scum of a feather that flock together. I know right back and forth and switching sides according to promises of power, money, land. Exactly, Billy. Right. And we see that with like JD Vance. He's just spineless. That's why I like to call him mashed potatoes in a suit. And it was Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, I think, who coined that, or one of his writers coined that. But he is absolutely spineless. The never Trumper, right? He just, okay. So I have 3 pages of notes. Let me try to, let me just run down them, even though they'll be out of order from what we're talking about. And I put in my thumbnail, I want to keep it there, but I might change it. I want to talk about that dentist and his wife in Columbus too. There might be more to that. I don't want to go there yet, but there might be more to that. But I want to talk about it because it hits close to home. there's just stuff there. I mean, basically, based on the evidence that's revealed, which is just the stuff you see in the mainstream news, my opinion is that it is very likely the Monique, I think is the mom's name, that it is like an ex-lover or fiance or husband of hers, that it's an ex of hers who was familiar with them enough that he was able to get in the house without breaking and entering, and that the husband was what's the word, penetrated with multiple bullets, and she was once in the chest, maybe twice in the chest, but the husband multiple, and they're not saying how many, but it sounds like there was a lot of rage unloaded on the husband, and then she was just ended, and the kids in the home weren't injured, and they'll probably figure it out pretty quickly. I think there's like surveillance cameras all over the house and all over the neighborhood. So let me keep reading. So yeah, I want to talk about that. And then I also want to keep talking about the things that we're talking about already. Let's see. Jack used to work for the ICC until 2010, I think. Oh, Billy, that's amazing that you know that. That's amazing that he has that on his resume. And that's amazing that you know that, because, yeah, I thought that he was in the position that he's in for like 20 or 30 years. And so I'm not sure, because, yeah, he kind of goes over a little bit of his resume in that deposition, but I haven't had a chance to really sit down and listen to it yet. I watched an anonymous video, and they said all of the 1% want to wage war on all us normal people. Of course they do. They want us all gone so that they can keep all the resources for themselves. We're just like a bunch of cockroaches to them. And then they will say we can have world peace and have one world order that they will run, of course. Right, because the power of the people is the power of the people. Like the 1% can F themselves completely. Rusky didn't want the Nazis to invade them too. They didn't care until Nazis came for them. Billy, I love your writing. And it was too cold, so the Nazis failed, froze, and starved. Wow, Billy, you are full of knowledge. She is full of knowledge, as are you, Annabise. And we had another one in the chat too. And I'm sorry, I told you I'm like Dory. My brain just doesn't hold anything. Oh, and it's only on top chat. Let me put that on live chat and let me know if I missed anything. Sorry about that, you guys. Let's see. Drea is the other one that's been chatting. Drea came in second. It's just the three of you in the chat, right? So far. There's a fourth person watching, but they might not want to be in the chat. Me, Drea says. Yes, Drea. It was winter time, but I'm not that smart. Oh, Drea, you're so cute. I think you're smart. I think you say smart things in chat. I watch a lot of documentaries. Oh, Billy, I'm with you. That's what I do for fun. That's how I unwind. I can barely wrap my head around all this mess. Well, that's because you're smart, in my opinion. This is a freaking mess. Why focus on it, except that I feel the need to stay safe, to be educated. So, but it all ties in with little E. So little E, his sentencing, yesterday's video was about the epiphany that I had, thinking that the 2008 economic crash could have been a diversion distraction from the e-files, because the banks that caused that economic collapse some of those CEOs of those banks were in the freaking e-files. And so that was just a little thing going on in Florida, and they were able to just squash it by blowing up the entire nation's economy. Perhaps, because the timing is consistent. Also, Little E lost $150 million in the economic collapse. Also, the day before he started that sentence for the sweetheart deal, remember Zorro LLC won an $85 million lottery ticket from not New Mexico. Was it Utah? Let me look. The $85 million lottery ticket. It's in dispute, you know, like there's people that believe it and there's people that don't. 85 million lottery to Zorro. And that was 2008. Yeah, that's when they started the sentence. So it was like the day before he started the sentence. So a group, this is AI, a group called Zorro Trust claimed an 85 million. Of course, I almost said 85,000. I'll start over. A group called the Zorro Trust claimed an $85 million Powerball jackpot from the July 2nd, 2008 drawing in Oklahoma. That's what state it was. It was Oklahoma. The Zorro Trust. Key details regarding the lottery prize. The winning ticket was purchased at a Stripes convenience store in Altus, Oklahoma. The Zorro Trust chose the lump sum payment option, which totaled about $41.3 million before taxes, $29.3 after. Oklahoma law allows lottery winners to remain anonymous if they claim their prize through a trust. A financial company, Heritage, wait a second, Heritage Trust Company handled the claim on behalf of the trust. Would that have anything to do with the Heritage Foundation? Connection to Jeffrey Epstein. The Zorro Trust name drew significant media attention because it was linked to convicted SMEX offender Little E, who owned a ranch in New Mexico called the Zorro Ranch and used an entity with the same name for various affairs and political donations. The timing of the lottery win in August 2008 coincided with E being on a 13-month jail sentence in Florida. I thought it said, okay, they claimed it in August, but it was from July 2nd. And it was June 30th that he signed the sweetheart plea agreement, effed up deal. And did Alex Acosta even have the authority to turn federal charges into state charges? I doubt it. And he says he was just doing what he was told. He was just doing what the people above him told him to do. Again, he's a lawyer and he broke the law, and he knows he broke the law, and he should be held accountable for it. While the association raised suspicions of money laundering or a rigged win, no concrete evidence has ever proven direct involvement by Little E in the lottery process itself. The win was officially recognized by the Oklahoma Lottery Commission, and Little E has a friendship with the governor at the time of Oklahoma, who probably pulled the strings to get the little numbers to work out. And he needed money because he was going to jail, you know? And there's a lot more to it because although it was purchased in Oklahoma, one of his employees at the ranch lived in Oklahoma, and it said that that man's wife was the one who had the Zorro Trust, the LLC. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. It should have been included in yesterday's video, but I hadn't thought about it. That's the thing with all these ideas tying in together. You know, I'd like to try to put them all in one place, but that's hard. I'd have to like write a book or something, right? And also to remember that 2 days before, wait, what was it? It was 2 days before he was Epsteined in 2019 that he redistributed all of his over $550 million estate. He redistributed his will 2 days before he was Epsteined. So today's the 3rd. Okay, now it's the 4th of January because we just went past midnight. I have a feeling too that Biggly Piggly is just like yearning for J6. We're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of his flop of doing what Maduro successfully did. Maduro also lost an election and was able to remain in power. I kind of feel like Biggly Piggly abducted him so that he can get all of his hot tips, so he can pick his brain and figure out how he did it. Because Maduro did what he tried to do 5 years ago, but Maduro succeeded at it. So get Maduro in his corner, learn his playbook. And how long did it take to, I'm just reading you guys my notes. How long did it take Alex Acosta to get confirmed? I want to say it took like a year, but let's see what AI says. Alex Acosta confirmation into Secretary of Labor, Labor Secretary. How long did it take? Sorry that my voice to text is not working, so I have to type it all out. It took 2 months. So he announced, Biggly Piggly announced it February 16th of 2017. The Senate didn't confirm him until April 27th. And I think it was one of the longest confirmations. Who is the cabinet member? I'll get your comments too in just a second. Who is the cabinet member that took longest to confirm? So he actually held the position for over 2 years then, before he was ousted. The minute little E was arrested, he was basically ousted. Let's see. It says DJT's first term saw several nominees face extended delays or withdraw, including Andrew Pudzer for the Labor Secretary. But that's not right. I mean, unless that's who replaced Alex Acosta. Ronnie Jackson for VA, for the VA, sorry. And Patrick Shahanan for the defense secretary. Weird that he chooses defense secretaries that they don't want to swear in, isn't it? In essence, the longest can mean most days. It doesn't really say how long is the longest. And how long. Oh, that's interesting. It says like over 50 days is the longest, but it doesn't mention Alex Acosta. So it's been scrubbed, right? That's funny because historical examples, Knox in 09 took over 50 days, but Acosta took like 60 days. Betsy DeVos, another one of Trumpster fires, but it doesn't say how long. And Andrew Wheeler, 2019, the EPA administrator, confirmed in early 2019 after significant debate, also stretched past 50 days. Okay, I got to ask it one more question and then I'll read your comments. Let's see. Let me see if it'll do the voice. Will it do the voice to text? It's doing it. Cool. Okay. So let me try that again. What was it that I wanted to ask it? Which Trump cabinet appointments took 50 days or more to confirm? Again, it's hilarious that they mention Betsy DeVos for education, Ben Carson for the Housing Authority, Wilbur Ross for Commerce, Steve Mnuchin for the Treasury. And then it talks about Scott Pruitt and Tom Price, but they scrubbed Alex Acosta. How long was he again? How long did it take Alex Acosta to get confirmed to be the labor secretary? Just over 2 months, so over 60 days, but yet they don't talk about it when they talk about all the ones that took over 50 days. Just over 2 months. So again, to reiterate, from February 16th to April 27th. So that would be roughly 70 effing days. It's been scrubbed. And why would you scrub it? Oh, because appointing Alex Acosta ties him directly to the sweetheart deal. Okay. Now, what have I missed that you guys have been saying? Hold on. Sorry for all of my lack of attention. I missed a ton. Let me get this. I've been watching Isaac Cappy videos. He said all of this years ago before he passed. History is interesting. I know I love history. These 1% were probably all Little E Island. Yeah, exactly. And that's why they're sharding bricks. And I mean, like Mark Zuck, but put an F where the Z is. He used to be all about freedom of speech. He used to be an anti-Trumpster fire. And then he was standing right behind the man during this last inauguration with all the other freaking billionaires having secret meetings about doing these things. North Fox Island in Lake Michigan is also exactly like E Island, by the way. Oh, really, Billy? Wow. Well, and that would make sense because it's so close to Canada. Wow, that's crazy. I'd never heard about that. I'll have to look that up. I have to remember to read Philip K. Dick. Lots of transporting people, items, rugs throughout world at military bases, Romanian angels, right? But also those initials RA, I think, were chosen for a very specific reason because of the ritualistic type of abuse that is commonly referred to as RA, and continue. And I think that that's also part of all of this cabal crap. Yes, that's Crazy Billy. Skinwalker Ranch also alleged smacks happening to males. I've heard of it, but I don't know like where it is or anything about it. Here in Ohio, where Abercrombie and Fitch has their flagship, they would invite all the models to their Abercrombie and Fitch ranch for these like weekend photo shoots and abuse them. Michael Jeffries, maybe Les Wex, a couple of more. One sec. Okay, puppy dogs. They got the door pushed open. So yeah, those people, and then like Jim Johnson, who's the guy who was part of the whole OSU scandal, who's now in Trump's cabinet. Jim Jordan or Jim Johnson OSU sex scandal. Jim Jordan. Yeah. Oh, so there's an HBO documentary called Surviving Ohio State. I'll have to watch that. Criticizing the university's response to Dr. Richard Strauss and the people. Representative Jim Jordan's in the House of Representatives, not the cabinet. Let me clarify that. But he was part of OSU for the like 20-year long cover up with the disgraced Dr. Richard Strauss, performed a sex act in the shower at OSU after a wrestling match. Gross. Ohio Representative Jim Jordan to face deposition in OSU sex abuse scandal. But did he? That was 5 months ago. He was a coach. Anyway, so yeah, so he gets mentioned in the politics all the time because he's one of the fixers, main fixer, right? That's Crazy Billy. Skinwalker Ranch also alleged smack abuse happening to males. Nashville hotspot for trafficking. Oh, is that where Skinwalker is? In Nashville? That's so tragic. Why is Tennessee so bad with the transporting too? And that's where Summer Wells went missing from. I mean, it's on the Interstate 75 corridor that goes from Florida straight up through Ohio and Michigan to Canada. And so I think everything on that Interstate 75 corridor is going to be connected to the transporting. And then especially where interstates cross, like in Ohio, we have 70 cross 75, and we also have 80 cross 75 by Toledo. And that's just south of Michigan. But also Interstate 90 kind of blends into Interstate 80. So really we have like 70, 80, and 90 all kind of converging through mid to northern Ohio. And then I don't know where 65 goes through. I'm going to bet you it goes through in Tennessee, right? And then you got like 55, 45, 35. Wait, no, I'm doing it wrong. The 75 is north and south. 70 is the east and west. So then we have 80 and 90 and 94, because that's what happens when 90 and 80 converge for a while. It's like 84, 94 or something. I forget. I've taken it, but not that many times. And then, so then you have 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, and then 10. Like those are all of the east-west interstates. So if you look where each one crosses Interstate 75, that's going to be a hot spot for transporting of all of those things that you mentioned, Billy. Yeah, it's like hiding in plain sight in Ohio. It's everywhere. Like you see these hotels or motels that don't have names on them, and they don't have names on them, but they're motels, and they're right off the freeway. It's creepy AF. And then a ton of giant warehouses, no names. It's totally freaky. Let's see. Oh, stop messing with me. It's not there. Okay, I've heard about Skinwalker Ranch because of Ghost Adventures. Yeah, some aliens and shady people. Do you mean outer space aliens or, the other kind? Mostly homeless men. I bet it's scary, though, not from ghosts, but from those who frequent it, like young males to go there to work for them. And yeah, ghosts would be scary. Terrible Billy. I'm afraid of live people, not ghosts. Me too. Mostly creepy men. Yeah, like the one that's in the president's office, right? Predatory. Exactly. OMG. I just wanted a break. Poor Ivanka and Tiffany. Can you imagine Biggly Piggly being your dad? Well, I'm going to guess that he has essayed both of them, but especially Ivanka. Just that video of her looking at her bed when she's talking about how it's been like 10 years since she'd been in her bedroom, and then she's like freaking out when she looks at the bed and she looks out the window and just like has a out of body experience based on that alone, let alone a bunch of other freaky pictures of her and her dad. There's like a million, right? And he was obsessed with her. And then allegedly he was always telling hot women that they reminded him of her. And he did that with somebody in the crowd just like a week ago. Do you guys remember that? He was just totally distracted. He's like, oh my God, is that Ivanka? Oh, I thought you were my daughter. It was insane. Jordan, yeah. South Ranch in Texas. Oh, is that Skinwalker Ranches in Texas? Not Nashville? In the boonies. Universities are involved in all this SMEC stuff. Oh, well, and then you've got the Turning Point hanging out at all these universities, hanging out in high schools, trying to recruit kids, basically. Is Turning Point, this was, again, yesterday's video. Does it have anything to do with turning out, with turning tricks, Turning Point? Like, why'd they take that name? Hunting grounds for predators. Yeah. TPUSA is, and now in some states, high schools is mandatory. Cricky. Billy, did you see my video from yesterday yet? That was my big epiphany yesterday during my walk. I have a whole nother page or two of epiphanies from my walk today, so let me get back to that too. It's so scary. Why is our world so messed up? S ranch ghosts, aliens transporting. Yeah. Yes, he did do that at a rally or something. God, he's so gross. Unis Universities. Okay, thanks. All right, drink of water, then back to the notes. Let me see. I think I got through the whole first page. Yes. So Rose is the name of the victim, the survivor, the Trumpstein survivor, whose face I used on my thumbnail from yesterday. She's one of the more recent survivors to step forward, to put her name and her face out there, and to retain legal counsel and to try to get some truth and justice. Because she was so triggered by all the events going on in DC with all the Trumpstein files and all the Trumpstein survivors. Imagine how many other survivors there are who are just absolutely tormented and traumatized and just can't or won't bring themselves to come around and speak up and get justice and compensation. 1,200 listed in the e-files alone that we know about, the Trumpstein files. And there's nowhere near 1,200 that have stepped forward. Nowhere near. There are probably a couple hundred who have stepped forward over the last 6 years or even maybe 15 years and have been paid out by little e or little t or both. There have been a lot of settlements. Probably roughly 150 from little e, roughly 150 from little t, I think. Let's see. So that would be about 300. I don't know how many there are outstanding right now with their lawsuits. I'm going to guess probably only like 100. So that would only be about 400 when there's over 1,200 that are known. And of course, there's many, many, many more than that have maybe accidentally, self-induced, naturally had misadventures that were fatal, right? I'm sure tons of those. And perhaps tons who were just thrown overboard off the freaking yachts like that infant was allegedly in Lake Michigan. Or maybe down off of the Pedo Island in the Virgin Islands. I mean, who the F knows? Oh, and did you know this? Alex Acosta was Ghislaine's, one of her defense attorneys, you guys. I don't think I had that in my video yesterday. I think I just found that out today. Or no, maybe I did have it yesterday, but I wanted to re-highlight it. I can't remember. Alex Acosta was one of Ghislaine's defense attorneys after he was terminated from being the Secretary of Labor. So he was terminated from being the Secretary of Labor in or about July of 2019. Little E was arrested in June of 2019. Oh, interesting too, because it was June 30th of 2008 was when he did his signed his plea agreement for the sweetheart deal. Was it June 30th that he was arrested? Let me look. Oh, I'm so happy that my voice to text is working again. What was the date Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in June of 2019? No, he was arrested July 6th of 2019. That was the day he stepped off the plane at the Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after arriving on his private jet from Paris. So why is it that they couldn't locate Ghislaine for over a year? Trump couldn't locate Ghislaine for over a year. What would that be, like a year and a half? But then but he was able to abduct Maduro and his wife last night when they had a heavily fortified security detail. The date of Ghislaine's arrest. Maxwell. So she wasn't arrested until July 2nd of 2002, so a year later. But why did it take a year to find her? It wasn't the tinfoil on her phone. That was not working. She literally put tinfoil on her phone. They found that when they found her in New Hampshire. But she wasn't even out of the country, I don't think, during any of that time. But Trump couldn't find her for a year. But then he did find her. Or people found her, the FBI. I wonder if they went against his wishes. And then that's why he had to say that he wished her well. Because she could throw him under the bus. Okay. The video I sent you today mentioned 3 12-year-olds sent to little E for his birthday. Oh, I haven't watched it yet, Annabise. Are you talking about the triplets, the French girls that Jean-Luc Brunel gave to little E? And that was his 50th birthday. That was the same birthday that little T wrote the disgusting disembodied female torso birthday drawing. That was also for the 50th birthday. So I've been speculating that it's those 3 12-year-old French triplets that have triggered Biggly Piggly when the birthday letter was revealed. That's why he completely freaked out, because he knows that that's connected. It was the same birthday. It was the 50th birthday. And it was Jean-Luc Brunel, who was also Epsteined in February of 2022. I want to say February 19th of 2022, but I could be wrong. Anyway, Jean-Luc Brunel was Epsteined in jail, just like little E. And then Jiz was tried and sentenced in 2022. Her sentencing date was 2 weeks and 2 days before Ivana got thrown down a flight of stairs. Tripped and fell down a flight of stairs. Apparently she had like a cup of coffee when she tripped and fell down the stairs, but she also had an elevator in her apartment, and the coffee didn't spill until the bottom of the stairs. Isn't that amazing? So she was found at the bottom of a flight of stairs in her apartment 2 weeks and 2 days after Jiz was sentenced. So that was July 14th. So Jiz must have been sentenced like June 28th. See, I actually can remember things. I'm just showing off now. Although I might have said something incorrect, so forgive me. They didn't say triplets, but they said 3 girls. Okay, I'll watch the video. Thank you. OMG. No, I didn't know that Alex Acosta was Jiz's attorney. Isn't that effing crazy? And then, Maureen Comey was the attorney that prosecuted, I believe, both Jiz and little E. And then she was fired just a few months ago, right before the Trumpstein files hit the fan. She just happens to go bye-bye. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's effing crazy, isn't it? That Alex Acosta. And again, Trump tied himself to Alex when he appointed him to be the labor secretary. Like, thank you, douchebag, for outing yourself, for making it so blatantly obvious. Oh, wow, Billy says, was Jiz's dad ever go to jail? Good question, Annabise. I don't think he did. So he got busted for stealing millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, I think, from the pension funds of his employees from his newspaper companies. Like, like the National Enquirer types of newspapers. We call it the News, right? Wasn't that from So I Married an Axe Murderer, Mike Myers' parents? That's what they call the newspaper, the Enquirer. So he owned something in the UK that was a lot like that. It might have been called like the Sun or something. I'm not sure. The Star. I don't know. Anyway, so he was discovered for doing that right before he was found drowned off of his Ghislaine yacht in, I think that was 91. Let's see. Maxwell drowned in 1991. It might have been 92, it'll tell me. Yeah, in 1991. The Atlantic Ocean off of the Canary Islands, November 5th, 91. And let's see, he was 68 years old, media giant. He was publishing. How much should he steal? How much did Maxwell steal from his employees' pension funds? £400 million, 400 million to 460 million pounds from the pension funds of his companies. Oh, it was the Mirror newspaper group, to prop up his failing business empire. The fraud affected over 30,000 people, many of whom lost a significant portion of their expected retirement savings. And the fraud was discovered after his mysterious falling off of his yacht. A lot of Russians have been falling out of their windows and things like that ever since Bigley Pigley was elected in 2016. There were a lot of Russians that started falling out of windows in Russia and in the USA. I think they lose their balance or something. So a settlement was reached in 95, providing around 276 million pounds to the affected. That's nice. Scandal led to the government setting up financial assistance schemes as a safety net and passing the Pensions Act of 95, which introduced stricter regulations to prevent similar incidences. So that it wasn't discovered until after he died, but was he ever in jail? I'll just ask. Was Robert Maxwell ever sent to jail? No, never went to jail. So yeah, it wasn't until after his death. But let's see what you guys are saying. So yes, you can ask me and then I can ask Google Annabise. Don't you love it? I know you know how to Google stuff too, but I appreciate your question and directing it towards me so I could do it live for all of us to enjoy. Yes, Little E's 50th birthday, that Jean-Luc Brunel sent the 3 girls, but they didn't say they were triplets in the video. Yeah, and they were very poor, and he paid their parents. Yes, he stole millions from his newspaper company, hundreds of millions. Funny how ICE never deports Russians. I know, isn't it? Well, they are white, so, as long as people are white, then they're good, right? I mean, because Biggly Piggly's white, then he's all good. Nothing bad can ever happen. It can only good happen. Yes. Okay. So, Bondi, let's see, when did she work for Qatar? When did Pamela Bondi work for Qatar and get paid $150,000 a month? It went to a special place where I had to say, I'm not a robot. Oh no, I got it wrong. It was only 115,000 per month by the government of Qatar, not 150,000. She worked for a lobbying firm that was paid that much. The exact dates of her employment are not specified in the search results, only that it occurred at some time between 2016 and 2025, because she was the Florida Attorney General from 2011 to 2019. And so probably after she was the Attorney General, I would venture to guess. But, I'm under the impression that the Trumpstein files were being investigated ever since around 2004. I think was the first reports on record that got taken seriously. I mean, we know that there's other reports. When did the Epstein investigation start and when did it finish? I have a feeling it's still not done. Let's see what AI says. The initial investigation began in March of 2005. All charges were dismissed following his death in August 2019. So, let me see. I'm just going to ask. I mean, it probably will lie to me and say no. Did Pam Bondi investigate Epstein files between 2011 and 2019? Interesting that she suddenly wasn't the AG anymore after he passed away, huh? Of course, AI says no, she did not. But during her tenure, he was actively abusing minors in Florida. We know that. But I want to say that Florida was investigating, let's see. Was Florida investigating Jeffrey Epstein after his release from jail in 2009? Maybe change it to FBI. Let's see. And again, you can't trust AI, but let me just see what it says about what do I want to ask it? What do I want to ask it? When did the FBI start investigating Jeffrey Epstein? When did the FBI start investigating Jeffrey Epstein? First investigation in May of 2006. But wouldn't that have been the Palm Beach Police Department? Why did they take over? Did they take over so they could bury it? Anyway, so much effery. What say you? They are probably all gangsters. Yeah. Why does Putin let his people live here? And a lot of them live in the Trumpster Fire Tower in New York City. Oh, this is cute. Melania is trying to claim that she lives at Mar-a-Lago because Michael Wolff filed his $1 billion lawsuit against her in the state of New York and tried to serve her numerous times. So now she's saying that she doesn't live in the state of New York, which is hilarious. Mar-a-Lago. Okay. And Bondi definitely has a vested interest in covering up the Trumpstein files. My guess is that she did a lot of covering up of the Trumpstein files when she was the Florida Attorney General. Because again, her tenure ended the same year that that little E was arrested. So we've been on for an hour and a half. So let's start trying to think about wrapping up. But let's see. Worse than, can't read my writing sometimes. I think it says worse than Gates, but I'm not sure. Oh, Matthew Gates. I spelled it wrong. I spelled it with an S at the end instead of a Z. So Matt Gates was almost, Trump tried to appoint him to be the AG. And then he withdrew his nomination because of all of his crimes. And then, Blondie Bondi isn't much better. And I think I said that yesterday, that she was like our consolation prize for not getting Matt Gates. At the time, I was like anybody but him. And now that we know her, it seems that she's just as bad as him, if not worse. So why is it that guy, Larry Ellison, that I showed the picture of last night, the guy who owns Oracle and like CBS conglomerate, why is it that he looks like such a sick cartoon? Doesn't he look like the villain on Bullwinkle? And is Erika Natasha? Let's see. The villain on Bullwinkle cartoon. This guy, it looks exactly like him. Can you see that? It kind of looks like a Picasso. Remember old Bullwinkle? Snidely, that was his name. Yeah, I'll have to put their faces side by side. So, Larry Ellison looks like Snidely on the Bullwinkle cartoon. Let's see what AI says. It's thinking, it's searching. Oh, it thinks I said smiley. It's Snidely. I've got to fix that. It won't let me. Larry Ellison looks like Bullwinkle, Snidely villain. Oh, God, he's ugly. Ugly AF. Let's see what AI has to say about that. It says Larry Ellison, the co-founder and chairman of Oracle, has frequently been compared to iconic cartoon villains due to his distinctive facial hair and public persona. The comparison, oh, that's so funny. Not the first. His meticulously groomed goatee and thin sideburns. The villain archetype. Critics and observers had likened him to Snidely Whiplash, the primary antagonist of the Dudley Do-Right segments from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Oh, that's so funny. I thought I pulled that straight out of my rear end. Who is known for his signature mustache and top hat. Other personas beyond the Snidely Whiplash comparison, Ellison is also frequently described as a real-life Bond villain, a reputation fueled by his vast wealth, estimated at over $380 billion, and his ownership of private islands and high-tech surveillance interests. Ugh. God, he's ugly. That is so freaking funny. So yeah, here's, I want to get pictures of them side by side, but there's a good one of Snidely Whiplash, and then let me get you a good one of him. Oh, he's so ugly. He's fugly. He's so ugly, he's fugly. I don't know which one is worse. Let's see. I don't want to look at that, do I? No. He's just gross. But see, they're like trying to pick out all the like decent pictures of him. He's a freaking monster. Where's that one I was looking at yesterday where he looked like the plastic surgery gone wrong? Oh, he's so creepy. There's a bunch of him where he looks a lot like Snidely, but I'm just trying to find the creepiest one. That's not the creepiest one, but that's not a good picture. Like they're trying to show me all the good pictures of him, you know, because he's a billionaire, so he pays them to do that. Here, this one's worse. Ugh. With his freaking Hitler mustache and his disgusting little, I call it like the poet goatee. What did they call it? Anyway, the villain goatee. He is creepy looking. Yes, he does look like him. I thought I was being crazy asking AI to compare the two, and I guess it's a thing. That's so freaking funny. Sometimes I love AI. I didn't like that cartoon. I liked Rocky and Bullwinkle. I liked it, I think. LOL. Okay. So, Erika Kirk was a self-made millionaire before she graduated high school, you guys. So she started that Romanian Angels in 2006. She would have turned 19, I think, in November of 2006 or 18. She would have turned 18 in November of 2006. And she was a billionaire before the year was over. Or she also started the Romanian Angels before the year was over. But how did she start the Romanian Angels before she was 18? You can't do that kind of international travel company. What? She was a minor and she had an international nonprofit. Who could have pulled some strings to help her with that? Think. Nonprofits for money laundering. Yeah, a nonprofit organization. How do they always get rich off of that kind of stuff? Well, I'm going to bet you that TPUSA is quote unquote a nonprofit, right? Let's see. AI, let me use you again. Sorry for my dependency. Is TPUSA a nonprofit? It is. Turning Point USA is an American nonprofit organization that advocates for conservative politics on high school, college, and university campuses. It was founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery. The affiliate groups include Turning Point Endowment, Turning Point Action, and Turning Point USA Faith. Wow. How is it a nonprofit? OMG. Holy crap. Its mission is to identify, educate, and organize students to promote principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government. And transporting, I don't know. Oh, God, that's so gross. So Erika was appointed 8 days after her husband was assassinated. 8 days. It's a little quick. You might want to wait till the body cools down, right? And she's just been happy as a lamb ever since, taking over the world. And then Biggly Piggly has been deliberating having her supervise all of the news media, all the mainstream news media supervised by that witch. And then I think they have designs thinking that she's going to be like the first female president. I don't know where I got that idea, but I think that that's what they're thinking. I'm pretty sure that idea is from me brain. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it, but maybe somebody else has said it. I would imagine other people have said it. I just don't know that I've heard other people say it. I don't know where I got that idea that they want her to be the first female president. And I hope that I'm dead wrong, but it just kind of seems like that's where that's going. The place that begins with the I. The country that begins with that letter that's like an eyeball. It is a nonprofit. Billy says all are nonprofits. Imagine the money flow. Apparently the CEO has full control of the money. Vance Kirk ticket 2028. He'll never be a leader. Mashed potatoes in a suit will never, ever, ever be the leader. Even if something happens to our dear leader, Biggly Piggly, there's just no way in hell Vance could step into his shoes. Watch it happen tomorrow, right? Well, Jazz, you were probably right. See, I would think it would be more likely that they'd try to put Erika as the VP. I mean, Erika as the president and Vance as the VP. But if they could get her in as a VP and then they could they could have a disposable president so that they could slide her in there. That way they can skip sending APAC money. Is that AIPAC or ALPAC, Billy? If not 2032. I know. They talk about Charlie Kirk would have been old enough to run for president in 2028. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, who would think that these numbskulls would be even remotely viable candidates for that ridiculousness? So get this, so Erika and Lindsay Halligan went to college together in 2009 at Regis University in Denver. And then they both, wasn't it, let's see, isn't that the same year that they were runner-up? What year were Erika Kirk and Lindsay Halligan runners-up for Miss Colorado? 2010. So it was fall of 2009. Okay, so they started college together in the fall of 2007. They might not have known each other. They came from different high schools, but they're the same age. They both graduated high school 2007. I think Halligan was from Colorado. Erika was from Arizona, where she'd already won Miss Teen Arizona when she was in high school. But I've never asked AI if AI knows about it. So anyway, they won for the 2010 ticket, but those pageants are in the fall for the previous year. So fall of 2009 was when Erika withdrew from Regis University and transferred back to a school in Arizona, but she did first win the fourth runner-up for Miss Colorado. So Lindsay Halligan winning third runner-up for Miss Colorado, and then she graduated from Regis University, and Regis University is a Heritage Foundation type of place. A lot of Heritage Foundation people were cultivated there, let's say. And then where'd she go to law school? But Miami, University of Miami. And it's just so funny. Wait, Halligan also placed as a semifinalist the year before. Oh, and the year before that, and then she was the third runner-up. But that's so funny. AI scrubbed it. Okay. This is what AI says. Lindsay Halligan was runner-up, third runner-up, Miss Colorado in 2010, while Erika Kirk attended the same university as Halligan, Regis University, but no source indicates that she was a runner-up in the Miss Colorado pageant. Rather, they shared a college connection, with Halligan competing twice. That is so funny that they fucking scrubbed that off the internet. Sources don't mention her competing in Miss Colorado. OMG. But then, but wait, maybe if I say France, because that's hilarious that they're trying to hide that too. Again, why would they hide it? Now it says Lindsay Halligan and Erika France, now Erika Kirk, were both runners-up in 2010 Miss Colorado, which was held in November of 2009. So that's funny. If you use her maiden name, they didn't scrub that. They forgot. OMG. They got to scrub better. But I also wanted to ask AI if it knows anything about Erika France won 2007 Miss Arizona Teen. Won Miss Arizona Teen 2007. Oh, this is the first time I've seen it pulled up like this. It says in 2007, France won the National American Miss Teen Arizona pageant. During the talent portion of the contest, she bridged her love and skills. OMG. It's one of the first times that I've been able to pull it right up on the top. That is wild. Let's see. Sorry, one second. Okay, so at 19, she launched the nonprofit called Everyday Heroes Like You with her mother, focused on providing children in hospitals with toys, books, and games. Aw. So, also, she has Bible clothes. She made a company for Bible clothes called Proclaim 365. And baby blankets, t-shirts, bags, and household items with scripture verses. Wow. In 2007, she won the National American Miss Teen Arizona pageant. During the talent portion of the contest, she bridged her love and skills of basketball by performing a dribbling exposition with 2 balls. About 4 years later, she made her first appearance at the Miss Arizona competition, falling just short of the title by receiving the first runner-up. So that was 2011. And then in 2012, on her 23rd birthday, November 2011, she did win Miss Arizona title. And Trump owned the Miss USA competition at the time. Wow. Okay, so I think that's the 4th place I've had it confirmed. They've tried so hard to scrub that. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try to send you this link, Annabise. There, I just sent it. So let's see if it goes through, since my phone is so inconsistent. So the APAC, my eyes are freaking out with the AIPAC or ALPOC. ALPAC. Okay, thank you, Billy. Yeah, with the spaces. It looks more like an L. It still could be an I. But you know how your eyes start bugging out after a while? Like when you're doing your eye test. I just did my eye tests like a couple of weeks ago, too. A week ago. The transporting that goes on. Why does Erika's mother have so many different names and spellings? Interesting. You know who also had a lot of different names and spellings was what was the meats and locker company that Brett Payne owned in Idaho that was in Bonnie Ferry? Bonnie Ferry Meats and Locker, owned by Brett Payne. It had a lot of different names. Oh, there aren't any great matches. That's so funny. Let's see. Meat Laka. Too funny. Oh, because it's spelling fairy wrong. It's spelling it like a fairy garden, fairy godmother, tooth fairy. Um, and it's supposed to be like a boat fairy. Idaho. Okay, Ferry. So the name of it now is South Hill Meat and Locker. South Hill Meat Locker Incorporated. It's a meat storage operation owned by Brett Payne. So yeah, it's had so many different names. South Hill Meat Locker. South Hill Meats Locker Incorporated. South Hill Meat and Locker. It had like 6 different names when I looked it up when the Idaho 4 case was hot and heavy. And yeah, why would you keep changing the spelling? Just like 1 or 2 letters here and there. Y'all check Utah, the channel Trigger Smart. He explains the C. Kirk incident. Oh yeah, I'd like to. Trigger Smart. I'm going to write it down before I wrap up. Let's. Where's my pencil? I think it fell. No, there it is. What's it called? Trigger Smart. Yeah, there was Dee Dee Got a Podcast was one that I found with that case, and Mr. Let Go. They were both really good. I recommend some of their videos, and there were a couple others too that I wasn't real familiar with, but you know, people were getting crazy with that stuff. So awesome. I got it. Oh, good, Annabise. AI pack. What is it? What is AI pack? Is that like artificial intelligence? What is the author? Philip K. What? Philip K. Dick novelist. LOL, Billy. How could I forget Dick? We have too many dicks already in office. Maybe that's why. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Haha. Flight of the Conchords. Hilarious HBO series. Love FOTC. Sweet Anna. Oh, I'll have to check it out. Flight of the Conchord. I don't know it. Me too. Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm in love with Jermaine. How do you say it? Ask your phone. Quick, you're going to freak. Okay. Ask my phone about let's see. Flight of the Conchords HBO series. Why am I going to freak? 2 seasons. Yeah, they're cute. So which one are you in love with? It looks hilarious. It's a sitcom, 2007. How come I've never heard of it? It's a musical comedy aired on HBO from 07 to 09. Brett McKenzie and Jermaine Clement as fictionalized version of their New Zealand folk comedy duo as they try to make it in New York City. It's funny because they both of them kind of look like the lead singer for AJR, Adam, Jack. Oh, it's been so long. What are their names? AJR band names: Adam, Jack. Why can't I remember? The fourth one, Ryan. So yeah, Jack is the youngest one. He's the lead singer. They kind of look like triplets. They're all exactly 6'1". But I think that Jack is the cutest one, and they both kind of reminded me of Jack. And they're from New York City. They're total New Yorkers. They've lived in New York City every day of their lives, except for the oldest brother that went to get his doctorate degree in Alabama. But they all went to Columbia University, and now the oldest one, Adam, teaches at Columbia University. And I did not get to go to their concert this last summer when they played in Columbus, damn it, because my family was all busy with other stupid stuff. I was so mad. Okay. The tall one. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. It looks hilarious. About AI. Okay. Ask your phone about APAC. Okay. And who is accepting the money? Sexy AF. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Who is accepting the money for AIPAC? Oh, okay. American country that begins with the letter I, Public Affairs Committee. Okay, so you want to know who donates more to them than anybody in our country is Les Wex, the guy who invented little e, the guy who's here in Ohio that owns Bath and Body Works and used to own Victoria's Secret. He's like 88 years old. He's got a whacked family history with like Russia, and I think his granddad was like the chef for Adolf. Like he's got a crazy ass history, and he's by far the richest man in Ohio. He's one of the richest men in the world, and he donates more money to this than any other American. Okay. It's a prominent pro country that begins with I lobbying group that accepts contributions primarily from individual donors, including billionaires and corporate executives, to fund lobbying efforts and political action committees, PACs. This money is then distributed to political candidates and outside groups in the U.S. elections. Yes, thank you. You so smart, lady. Yeah, I knew all that. I mean, I hear people talking about it, but it like goes in one ear and out the other. So let me ask another question. We do need to wrap up. We're getting to 2 hours. This is so fun, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. What is Leslie Wexner's net worth? Oh, it's only 8.8 billion. Why was the University of Idaho president a billionaire? Let's see. How much is Coomer Scott Green worth? Let's see. Or was it Scott Coomer Green? University of Idaho president. So Coomer Scott Green. So he just goes by C. Scott Green. Let's see. He wants to pretend he doesn't know him. Wikipedia. See, and I think he ran a lawyer's office in New York City. He'd never worked in academia before he got that job, but his granddad had worked at the university. I think his dad worked at the university. Remember, his dad had owned the 1122 King Road property when he was growing up. Because he was worth like $3 billion when he started his tenure as the University of Idaho president, and then he was worth $4 billion after just like 4 years or less. Let's see. It wants to deny it. C. Scott Green billionaire. Now it's been scrubbed. That's too funny. Because it got him, everybody was questioning the whole thing with the quadruple homicide and the money with the sorority girls and the, what is that thing called? You guys know what I'm trying to think of. The back page, hot chicks, OnlyFans. Okay. Let's see. He really is Billy, sexy man. I was just daydreaming about him as we were talking. OMG, Billy and Jazz, that's nuts. Ha ha ha. Really, that's interesting. I wonder if Jules knows that. Oh, the thing about the billionaire stuff? Yeah, well, I think it's really funny that they scrubbed it because it was pretty easy for me to find. The way I found it back during the case was I just was trying to look up how much he made per year, which is between 400 and 500,000 a year, but it immediately told me about his billionaire status. And then I was putting that out in my videos, and some other people caught on to it. I think she probably did, but it's funny that now it's been scrubbed off the internet. That's what makes you know it's a hot spot. Like, they don't want people to know that he was raking in all this money, because why would a billionaire even want to work at a university? Like, what a pain in the ass that job would be, right? Especially when you have a quadruple homicide. Huge inconvenience. Like, why not just sail your yachts around the world and, hang out with pedos? I don't know. Yeah. Jules is really cracking that Idaho 4 case. We'll let her know. Make sure she knows. I'm sure she gets a gazillion emails and stuff. But yeah, I know. She hits it hard. Neo-Nazis in northern Idaho. Yeah. Everybody that was involved in that Moscow case had direct ties to Washington, D.C. And a lot of people in that town of Moscow, a lot of property owners are, from the former USSR. I thought that was really weird. So yeah, definitely crap. Middle Tennessee now. Well, that's where Keg's Breath is from. Billy, that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is how many people are in those groups. So that Christian nationalist guy, Doug Wilson, he has his Christian nationalist church in Moscow, and then he has one in Tennessee where Keg's Breath was from, and now he has one in Washington, D.C. Doug Wilson Church. Oh, see, it's funny because our systems have detected unusual traffic from your computer network. It's so funny. So it's called Christ Church. We need that, right? So how many Christ churches are there? Doug Wilson. How many Doug Wilson Christ churches are there? His Christian empire. This is weird. Christkirk.com. Does that have anything to do with Charlie Kirk? Why do they call it that? Christkirk.com. That doesn't make any sense why they would call it that. But that's for the website for Doug Wilson's Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho. Christkirk.com. Is Charlie Kirk connected to that? But I'm sure that he started one in. Okay, so now there's 150 affiliated churches and Christian ministries worldwide. One primary Christ church associated with Doug Wilson. It's the center of a much larger network. And isn't there one Doug Wilson Christ Church in DC? I think that they opened one there and that they do like government prayers. Christ Church, Washington, D.C. Pete Hegseth and other Capitol conservatives joined Christ Church's new location on Pennsylvania Avenue. And so he just started it in September of 2025, it looks like. OMG, the one in DC. Maybe as early as July of 2025. Okay, so don't they have one in Nashville or in Tennessee? Because that's how I think Keg's Breath got into it. Let's see. Anyway, I'll put that down. Enough of that. We need to wrap up. We're 2 hours and 10 minutes. Again, thanks so much for being here, you guys. What are you guys saying, you smart ladies? Billy, that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is how many people are in those groups. I know, right? Yes, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, none of that is suspicious. They are probably all nonprofit, right? Yeah, well, duh, Anna. It's a church. Churches count as nonprofit by offering community services like AA meetings. Zero separation of church and state. Ugh. I know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, they have prayer, I think, on the Senate floor, if I'm not mistaken. Can you believe that Kylie brought all of our minds together? Look what you made us do. Kylie is the bomb. We should have a church of Kylie. I mean, she was 16 years old, almost 17, and she kicked some ass, man. She had it going on. She was so smart. OMG, RIP, sweet Kylie. I know, Billy. I think of her frequently. RIP. I know. Dear Kylie Rodney. She really did kick butt. And, living out in the freaking Sierra Nevadas like that, out off grid. I mean, it's harsh enough to live in the Sierra Nevadas, but then that house that was like, I don't know if it was like a mile or 4 miles up that hill from where the let's see, Donner Party Memorial Park to Lost Trail Lodge distance. Are you kidding me? It says 18 miles. No, but that's Campfire Ranch, Lost Trail, but it's on Coldstream. Let me see. Lost Trail Lodge to Donner Party Memorial State Park. It couldn't be 19 miles. Um, 8,600 Coldstream. Is that the address for Lost Trail Lodge? Let me see. That is crazy. Address for Lost Trail Lodge, Donner Lake. Okay, maybe it's not there anymore. But yeah, it was. Holy crap. She was 19 miles up that hill, you guys. That's effing crazy. Remember in the winter, you could only like ski or snowmobile in or out? I thought it was like maybe 1 to 4 miles. I thought it was like 4 miles max. 19 miles? Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, that is totally the address for the Lost Trail Lodge. 8600 Coldstream Trail, Truckee. Holy crap. How far is 8600 Coldstream Road, Truckee address from the interstate? Okay, it says it's very close to Interstate 80, 1 to 2 miles off the main highway. Okay. Maybe the park, because the park at the bottom of the hill on Coldstream Road is the Donner Party Memorial Park. Let's see. Donner Memorial Park. Yeah, it's only about 2 to 3 miles, it says. Okay. Donner Memorial State Park. All right. Let me look at a map real quick. No. Sorry, it's getting late. I keep saying we're going to wrap it up, and I haven't yet. So, yes, I think it was 4 miles away. Yeah, I mean, that's still, when you're snowed in, that's a lot. Driving it in her SUV, it was a rough drive because of all the loose rocks and the water and that skinny little, like, train track bridge tunnel that you had to go through. Crazy. Not for sale. I thought it was pretty close. It is in the link. Wow, it sold in 11/25/25. I wonder who bought it. 8,600 Coldstream. I know, right? WTF to whom? That's a lot of miles. Okay, 1 to 2 miles sounds about right. Yeah, I know. I think I would have noticed if it was like 19 miles because, she moved in there when she was like 7. I think she lived there for about 9 years. I think the little brother was born when she was about 8. And being isolated like that would be really harsh, especially with an ex-con who did hard time for corporal injury. Remember Tony, her stepdad? He served prison time for corporal injury, domestic violence with corporal injury. And then she was isolated with him and a little baby and her mom and whoever wanted to come and stay at the Lost Trail Lodge, and a whole bunch of guys twice a year. The first weekend of January and the first weekend of July. No, last weekend of January, last weekend of July. The Alpine Club, the men's group. Before Lindsay. I don't know if it was Lindsay or before Lindsay. I don't know. I mean, I could guess one way or the other. I would guess that it was before Lindsay, but I don't know. I mean, if it was Lindsay, that'd be really bad. But it's bad either way. Domestic violence with corporal injury. I mean, people don't do prison time for domestic violence usually. It's pretty freaking lenient in our system. Okay, so let's see what else I wanted to say before wrapping up. So Lindsay Halligan, when she moved to Miami for the University of Miami Law School in 2012, did she connect up with any of these like modeling groups? Did she do any recruiting for the modeling groups? That's my question. That's my question. And then, I just want to say this about Charlie Kirk getting shot at a school shooting, which, according to him, is just part of the price that we all have to pay for the Second Amendment rights that we so enjoy and desire. And it's completely worth it. I wonder if he'd say that still. And why does nobody ever freaking talk about the high school shooting that happened pretty much at the exact same time in Colorado? Like, that was such BS. I was going to look something up, but my phone is telling me that it doesn't want me to. It's out of battery juice. I got to plug it in. I'm never going to get off this live. It's almost 2 a.m. Let me see. I will get off this live, you guys. And you don't have to stay on with me, but isn't it fun? It's like back in the Kylie days when we'd all be up all night with Shan, and I was always having to go to sleep because my stupid job. I had to get up. I had to be out of my house before 6:30. So annoying. So let me see if my phone will turn on, because what did I want to look up? I wanted to look up that Colorado school shooting that happened the same day Charlie Kirk, September 10th of 2025. So, because I forget if people, I think 2 people were shot. I don't think either one of them passed away, but still, it's crazy that people don't bring it up, isn't it? And then, I think that's about it. Yeah, I think I've said everything in my notes. Let me look up that high school shooting. Let's see if it'll still do the voice to text. High school shooting in Colorado, September 10th, 2025. It was called Evergreen High School. And yeah, I think shot and injured 2 fellow students at Evergreen High School, was radicalized by some extremist network. Well, what extremist network was it? What extremist network was the Evergreen High School shooter involved with? Online extremist network, but they did not name a specific organization. I'm just wondering if they were MAGA. I'm just wondering. White supremacist ideology. Desmond Holley, the 16-year-old shooter at Evergreen High School, radicalized through decentralized, nihilistic, and extremist network. Centers on graphic violence and white supremacist ideologies. His involvement was primarily concentrated within the following online platforms and subcultures: Watch People Die. Oh my God. As a gore forum. A gateway to extremism. 141 Network. Largely centered on Telegram, according to experts from the Institute for Countering Digital Extremism. This network is known for grooming young people towards acts of violence and nihilistic destruction. Neo-Nazi and white supremacist communities. Holley's online presence was filled with white supremacist symbols, anti-Semitic content, neo-Nazi code phrases. He expressed a fascination with acceleration and an ideology that calls for violence to hasten the collapse of modern society. TikTok true crime community. So what was his name? Desmond Holly. Was Desmond Holly MAGA? It won't give me an answer. Huh. It's funny that it won't answer yes or no. It just says the mention of MAGA in your query likely refers to online discussions of social media commentary following the event where some users speculated or debated on his potential political affiliations or the influence of far-right extremist networks on his radicalization. Um, hmm. Well, since it won't say yes or no, that's kind of a red flag to me. Extremist network, neo-Nazi. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys say? Yeah, that's a terrible charge. That's so true. How did you do that? I have to sleep. Okay, I'm sorry, girl. Let's all go to sleep. Imagine that. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I agree, Annabise. Absolutely. So good night, sleep tight, and drink your water, eat your protein, fresh air, sunshine, and all that. Thanks so much for making this such an interesting discussion. I'm sorry that it lasted so long. What, 2.5 hours? That's crazy. And, because I got new wax, I could do it. My mouth isn't hurting at all. That's really awesome. So, all right. Love you guys. Spread the love. It'll save the day. Good night.